Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just had some issues going live. Hi, welcome to a special episode of Soul Infused Monday. Take a nice deep breath, and it always takes a moment to jump in. So I invite you to, if you are already here live, or if you are on the replay, to just take a moment and remove any distractions and leave a comment below. I'm gonna wait a couple of moments for people to jump in. This is the very first Soul Infused Monday show. It's the only Soul Infused Monday show for now, since last year. So Happy New Year for anyone that I haven't connected yet. And things changed here on Facebook as well. So I would love to hear from you if you are actually seeing and hearing me, because I don't see it right now. So if you are already live, and if you're on the replay and you're just hanging out here with me, just take a moment, take a nice deep breath, use this 1 or 2 or 3 minutes before we really jump into it. Maybe to grab a glass of water, to take 3 deep breaths, to tune in, close your eyes, kind of like become present until we wait for others to jump in. And again, if you are already there, please leave me a comment below. Hi Xenia, hi Barbara, yay! So you guys see and hear me? Fantastic. Okay, and again, as I just said, for those who just jump in, I am going to wait for a minute or two just to give people the opportunity, because there's sometimes a delay. And so be generous with your attention and your time and invite others to jump in. Super excited to see you here today. First time this year. Happy New Year 2021. And while we're waiting, if you're watching already, leave me a comment below. How are you doing? How is this new year going for you? Today is already February. I can't believe time flies. How are you doing? How has the start of 2021 kind of unfolded for you so far? And I'm gonna wait another 30 seconds and then I'm gonna officially start, even though it's already officially started. But just want to make sure I see here. Hi Tina, hi Linda. Yay, I'm so excited to see you. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. Okay, so what are we going to talk to you about? Partly, I don't know, it's going to be just inspired. And there are a few things that I do want to share or talk about. And if you are on my email list, you got an email last week about the MO virus, or the MO virus, the unseen or the invisible enemy. Maybe I go into that a little bit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check your spam or email box that I sent out an email about this. Hi Gail, Europe is in the house. Yay, I love it. Oh, good. You loved it. You get it. Okay. Has been okay. Sonia is loving it too. Xenia's loving 221. Linda has been a mixed bag so far. Whose has been a mixed bag so far? I'm sure you're not the only one, Linda. So let's jump in. First thing I want to say, be present here right now or be present somewhere else. And that's a life lesson. I can tell you today, I think the things that are going to come through me today, I'm sure some of them will be repetition, that it's always very important to repeat, get reminders is super important. There are going to be a few reminder on life lessons itself. You want to have some pen and a paper, because you never know when inspiration hits. You never know when I get an insight. You never know when you get this aha moment where you're like, oh my God. And even if you heard something 100 times before, sometimes 132 times, and on the 133rd time, you're like, oh my God, now it's sank in. So you want to have something to write. Welcome to the Soul Infused Monday show today. Super excited that you're here. Again, going back to be present here or be present somewhere else. This is something that you can take away for your life in every area of your life. And I know a lot of us are super multitaskers and we think, oh, the more we do at the same time, the more we get done. Not true. It's not true. Sometimes multitasking is great. I do it. And at the same time, here's the truth. From an energetical perspective, from a presence perspective, if you are not present with one thing, you are not present with anything. Because when you do things five things at the same time, maybe you kind of listen half ear here and you check your emails, or you write a book and you cook or whatever. It's like if you do too many things at the same time, you're not present with one thing. And it's always more beneficial to put your attention to something that is going to benefit you in that moment because it will sink in. So I hope this makes sense. And of course, I'd love for you to stay. And at the same time, I don't take it personal if you think, oh my God, I'm doing 3 things right now. I cannot listen to the show on top of it. I totally get it. I prefer you do something where you're fully present than doing 3 things or 5 or 10 or 15 where you're not. Does that make sense? So that's just a reminder for life itself. No matter if you're talking to someone, no matter if you're with your children, if you are at work, if you are taking care of yourself, it doesn't matter what you do. Always take a moment to set the intention to be present. Let's do that together real quick. Just take a breath, close your eyes even for a moment. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, but you get it. Take a moment to become present. When you close your eyes, it helps you to become more in the present moment. And you want to take a few deep breaths, connect to your body, connect here, and allow yourself and give yourself permission and decide to be fully present. So while you do that, I'm going to check in who's in the house. Lynn, hello, you made it. Hey, Beth is here too. And of course, Linda is not alone. Norma, Pamela, Way, fantastic. Hello, hello, hello. And yeah, keep leaving comments below. Let me know how you're doing and if you have any questions. This is a unique show this month that I'm doing live. And I do have a few questions that I'm going to answer as well. But I wanted to point it out, be present here or be present somewhere else, just be present somewhere, okay? The other thing I wanted to talk about, especially now that I've been taking time off, well, not for fun, obviously. Most of you know I've been in recovery from surgery, and I'm still gonna take time. My number 1 focus is really my personal recovery, my health, getting back to kind of normal, whatever that is, or back to being able to do everything that I'm not going to be able yet for a while. However, I'm doing really well. I thank you for all the wishes and good messages and love that you guys sent me. And I want to talk a little bit about what it means to take care of yourself, but also from an energetical level on what does it mean to keep your energy high? What does it mean to keep a high vibration? And I know that you and many in my community are all, you know, I'm all about energy. Everything is energy. I've been doing energy healing for over 23 years. I've been teaching, working with hundreds, if not thousands of people all over the world. And one thing that I keep seeing over and over and over again is the question is like, how can I be more energized? How can I keep my energy high? And how can I deal with the, you know, chaos, problems, adversity, all of that that's happening in the world. So I want to talk about that today. And if you have a specific question that you want me to answer for you today, leave them in the comment section below. It's the only time today where you can actually have my personal feedback. So you want to use that, okay? I got a couple of questions and I narrowed them down to 2 questions. And I'm going to give you some resources because I've talked about that a lot in the past. So I got several questions, but I kind of like put them down into 2 categories. One is how to deal with anxiety. How to deal with anxiety. So who can relate to that? Raise your hand. And the other is how to not get triggered or how to not get too overwhelmed, angry. I got some different, irritated, some different versions of it. But basically it's how to deal with anxiety and how to deal with getting triggered, overwhelmed, intense emotions. And because I've been talking about this a lot, I want to give you 3 resources that you can go back and re-listen. Everything I'm going to share with you today, or maybe have so far, will help you with that as well. Being present is helpful because when you are in an anxiety state, you are usually not in the present moment. There's an old trauma or a frozen emotion or something's coming up that keeps you in a fear state, and that's usually not in that present moment only. So I want to recommend these 3 Soul Infused Monday shows that I spoke about this particularly, and write them down. Number 134, the Soul Infused Monday show number 134, and I wrote it down here so I don't forget, It is specifically around tips to stay calm in stressful or chaotic and difficult situations in life. So 135. Then 148 is to release stress and to be more calm. It has a guided live meditation that will help you to actually shift the energy right there. So 148. And then the other one is 155, and it's about reducing worry and anxiety. So Leah and all you other guys that sent me those questions, I would go back and use those in the next couple of weeks. Just watch one show, part of it, and it will be super, super, super helpful. Okay? So, and I posted it here on the comment section as well. 134, 148, and 155. All right? So, what else? It's really interesting. There's so much coming through me that I will never be able to share with you today. And of course, it's not the last time that you're going to see me. I just don't know. I'm not going to go back yet to do the Soul Infused Monday show every week. But I am cooking internally up there in here. Things are going to shift a little bit, and I'm going to offer more in the near future, but not as yet. So, talking about energy, everything is energy. And even right now when you're listening, when you take a breath, when you connect to the people, when you connect to me, and you kind of have a sense of connection, energy, even if you're not consciously aware of it, one of the things that you can really do in order to keep your energy high is to be very, very mindful and very selective on where you put your energy and with what you surround yourself and with whom. Sometimes, obviously, especially if it's work related, maybe you are in a work situation where you always have a choice. I want to be very clear. You are 100% responsible for your life, and you always have a choice, even when the choice doesn't look so great. But there's always a choice that you can make. However, I also know that some have a work environment where they don't feel like, right now I wish I would not sit next to my boss, but I kind of like have to if I want to keep this job. So you make a conscious choice to do that in order to keep your job. Why I'm saying that, besides of the moments where you feel that you kind of have to, be very mindful with the time, where you spend your time, who you are listening to, with whom you spend your time with. Because everything is energy. Like, do you listen to the news first thing in the morning? Do you meditate first thing in the morning? Do you breathe? Are you focusing on the things that are not working for you, or are you focused on gratitude and the things that are really working well for you? So be very, very mindful, because everything is energy. Everything that you let in or you put out creates a certain vibration. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, leave me a few comments here. I wanna interact with you. I wanna engage with you. I haven't seen you in a while. I really wanna know what's resonating with you, what's landing for you, what else is coming up for you. Okay, so keep me posted here. Super important. I missed you guys. I hope you missed me too. Drink lots of water, by the way. That also keeps your energy high. I am always shocked how chronically dehydrated, especially the Western world is. If you don't drink enough water, you're never going to feel as good as you can. And you're made of water. So is it not the most natural thing that you should drink the most water on everything else that you drink? So makes total sense. Good reminder. Okay, cool. Everything is your choice. Yes, everything. And I want to talk about this for a moment, because it doesn't always mean, oh, it's a fantastic choice. Suddenly everything is roses and all is well. The thing is, though, you can either be in control of your life, or let me rephrase this a little bit. Either you have power over your life and control, or someone else. Like, it comes with taking responsibility. Taking responsibility for yourself. If you don't, someone else will. So, and it's often unconscious. You don't choose consciously to give your power away, right? At the same time, it's like, if we are in the mindset, oh, I don't have a choice, first of all, it's a lie. I'm very clear, and this might trigger you. You are totally open and free to disagree with me. This is my buffet. This is my buffet that I'm offering you today. Pick whatever works for you. And you know, I'm always very transparent. I'm always very, very focused on empowering you. So we don't always like to hear what the truth is or what empowers us, but ultimately we are grateful for it afterwards. And I have to do this still to this day. And thank God I have friends and coaches and people in my life that call me out on my own shit sometimes, right? So if you ever catch yourself saying, oh, I don't have a choice, or I didn't have a choice, it's a lie, it's not true. You made a certain choice out of the best resources you had in that moment. You always do the best you can. Listen to this again. Take a breath. You are always doing the best you can in that moment. And we learn from it. And we see, yeah, maybe another time you would make a different choice. Sometimes the choice is, for example, it's like, oh, I hate my job, but I have no choice. Yeah, you have a choice, and you make a choice. You choose to stay in this job, even though you don't like it, because you want to be able to pay your bills, for example. You choose to stay in a relationship because of your children, maybe. You have a choice. And that's okay. Every choice you make has a purpose. Every choice you make has a reason. So really what I want to really remind you of is that you are the creator of your life. And you always have a choice. It doesn't always feel good. And sometimes we go through really difficult times. I tell you, like a few weeks after the surgery were hell at times. Physically, and because physically, also emotionally. And then obviously, I was so out of it. I couldn't meditate the way that I was meditating. It was tough. It was challenging. And that doesn't mean that I cannot take responsibility for myself and my actions and my choices and be grateful. There's always something to be grateful for, even in the worst of the worst. So if you want to raise your vibration, if you want to keep your energy high, whatever that means to you, and it doesn't have to be, oh, it needs to be high 100%, right? But it's like, find gratitude and take responsibility and remind yourself that you are the creator of your life. That will make alone, like, that's just the foundation, right? So, yeah, I think I'm very clear here. And I also know that I'm preaching to the choir here. And at the same time, we all need that reminder sometimes, right? And I have way more to say. I just want to check your comments here. Thank you for your comments. And also, if you have questions. So give me a moment here. And while I do that, just think about what's already landing for you, what is valuable here for you. Everything is a choice. Yeah, be mindful, intentional. Yes, yeah, it makes sense. So good to see you. Thank you, Tina. Pointing out to be mindful of who I choose to spend my time with is landing for me. Yeah, so important then for all of us. And not only in person. Who do you listen? Right now you listen to me, that I very much appreciate and feel honored. And my intention is to uplift you. My intention is to help you to reconnect to the divine that you are, to reconnect it to the truth, to reconnect it to healing. So obviously you have very good intentions, but who do you listen to? What do you read? In person, but also digital or online or whatever you want to call it. I have a brother who is angry at me and not talking to me and emailing me. I've reached out so many times. Yes. Thank you for sharing. I don't know exactly if this is a question. And at the same time, the one thing that I want to say to you, Pamela, because that might resonate with someone else as well, if he doesn't want to talk to you, you got to accept that, even if it doesn't feel good. And the only thing you got to do in this moment is to keep working on what's coming up for you. Maybe the pain, the feelings of rejection, maybe some old wounding. Like, you can't force anyone to resolve something with you. I find it very challenging as well if someone doesn't want to resolve something. And in the end of the day, you might go detach from it, take care of what's coming up for you, taking responsibility for your own part of it, and then give it some time and see if that shifts. Nisha! Yes, focus on the positive and what's in your control. Always miss you. Love you. Barbara, listened to my gut this morning. Canceled the meeting and this morning worked out so much better. Plus, I'm seeing you. Yes, such a good point, Barbara. If you work in that way, if you really remind yourself and you choose to trust yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, you will give someone else the trust in you. Like, if you don't trust yourself, you will always ask other people. And that's not generally bad. Like, I have, we all have our coaches, guidance, mentors, friends, and I ask for help, I ask for advice. But in general, there's a sense of you trusting yourself to make choices for you. Because if you don't trust yourself, and if you don't take responsibility for yourself, again, it could be somebody else or something. Government, politicians, parents, relationship, friends, I don't know, or what else is out there. You can ask for support. You can be in cooperation, but don't give your power away. Don't, trust yourself. You know so much more that you sometimes acknowledge yourself. One of the things that I've really been learning the last few weeks, and on so many levels, even though I do trust myself already tremendously, but there were certain moments where I was like, asking for things, and at some point I felt like, Sonia, you can do this yourself. Like, you know so much, just trust yourself, right? We all need those reminders. Totally agreed. I like giving myself permission to be able to honor my choice, even if I don't like the reason I choose. Yeah, I love that, Beth. Absolutely. Love yourself through whatever is going on in your life. And it doesn't mean that that always feels so great. And it's always because this is so great what you just said, Beth, and I want to read this again. I like giving myself permission to be able to honor my choice, even if I don't like the reason I choose. What I hear you say is also, sometimes we feel bad because we somehow know it comes from a place that, I rather would choose something else, but I choose because of this reason. And instead of feeling bad about it, because when we feel bad about it and we don't want to acknowledge or honor it, we kind of hide it under the carpet. We put it aside, and then we are not in empowerment anymore. The truth is always kind. The truth will always set you free. Doesn't mean it feels always good right away. But the truth is always going to empower you, whatever the truth is. Even if you know, hey, I'm choosing this, and I'm very well aware it's not maybe in my best interest, but that's where I'm at right now. It's the only, that's the choice I'm making right now. If you honor that, you are in truth, it's still empowering. Does that make sense? You guys have really, really great comments here. And thank you for coming on live today. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you for making it here. So much good information that you remind us about. Yes. Thank you. I'm so excited that you're here. So to kind of wrap this up, right? Especially now with, last year the pandemic, this year, whatever it's gonna happen. It's like there was so much scarcity, there was so much fear, there was so much uncertainty, and that triggers a lot of emotions. But what it also does, it triggers, the intensity is often not inappropriate to the present moment. It triggers stuff from the past, and that's a huge opportunity. I've been doing inner work since forever. I do not know one person, and I'm sure they're out there, but I don't know one person who has done as much as I've done, right? And that's good, because if I teach and work with people, I always should keep working on myself, right? So, and for those of you that might have a thought sometimes that says, oh my God, I've done so much work already, why am I still struggling with this? I'm curious, anyone here ever has this thought? Raise your hand or write it down. Yes, me. Oh, I've done so much work already, why is this still coming up? Or what's wrong with me, I should know better, and all of like any variation of this. Like, I'm just curious, does that sometimes cross your mind? Do you struggle with that sometimes? So this is for you, but also for anyone else, even if you're newer to the journey. No matter how much work you've done, I've done so much work, and especially around before surgery, after surgery, like the old stuff that was coming up was mind-blowing to me. Like the layers, because I've worked on that for a long time, but deep layers of trauma, fear, terror, pain that was coming up for me was unbelievable. And to the point that I was really working through stuff with my people, because I do a lot of the stuff myself, obviously, because I can. And at the same time, there's a level that you need help with to dig deeper. I'm sharing this with you because if you ever feel like, oh, I should be somewhere else, or I shouldn't have this problem anymore, or why am I still struggling with this? Forget it, erase it, ignore it, never think that thought again, because it never matters. And I've said that many times in the past. It's a different layer, it's something that's still missing, and I am so grateful for this terrible time that I went through, because it gave me the opportunity to really peel off some really old, like out of the roots with the weeds, like not the weeds are outside, but the roots and the weeds and whatever we want to call it, on a level that I hadn't done yet, and only because this came up. It wasn't triggered before anymore because I didn't have to face it. So this is my invitation for you to really see this journey as a ongoing, beautiful diamond that is just covered with stuff, and you peel it off one layer at a time. And sometimes something is dormant for a year, for a decade, for I don't know how long, and then it gets triggered. So remind yourself of it. Don't judge yourself. You are where you are right now because that's where you're supposed to be, and it's the only place you can be. Right now, right here. And honor yourself, love yourself through it, and don't let others determine your level of anxiety or not. Like this whole pandemic and the virus, and of course you want to be careful, of course you want to be mindful, but the intensity and the amount of scarcity that was created in the world was shocking and terrifying, because fear is a bigger virus. That's what I call the emo virus, the emotional virus, the invisible. It creeps in you. It is so contagious. It is so contagious. And a fear state also reduces your immune system. So if you are afraid of getting sick, for whatever reason, and you are constantly afraid and revisiting that, your immune system will actually get easier sick than if you are in a healthy state of mind, conscious in the present moment. You deal with your fear, but you're not consumed by it, and you don't let others control that over you and tell you what's right or wrong. You want to trust yourself. You want to be conscious about your choices, also the choices of what you believe. It's your choice. Don't believe everything everybody says out there, Because I don't believe a lot of stuff that is out there, what they tell you. Okay, let me check if you have any questions. Do you have any questions? And again, if you jumped in a little later and you missed part of it, go back and watch it. And if you haven't shared with me yet, what's landing for you? What's the biggest takeaway for you today? Please leave me a comment below. I could talk for hours, and I have lots of good stuff to talk, but I also don't want to take too much time today. So take a nice deep breath with me. Yes, fantastic. Always a work in progress, exactly, Beth. Yes, Tina. It happens occasionally. Yeah, Linda, I totally get that. And it's okay that it happens occasionally, because you're on the path. Something would be actually weird if it wouldn't happen occasionally. Barbara is sharing, I'm 74 and keep working on things. You always remind me there is always things to work on and be reminded of, and so good to be in the group with you, to be supported, be better. Thank you, Barbara. And again, such a great comment. And I also want to point out that keep working on yourself. It's not a bad thing. It's not a hard thing. It's not a, oh my God, I have to keep working on myself. Oh my God, for me, inner work is the most rewarding, the most joyful, the most liberating. And of course, it's like nature keeps growing. You know, nature doesn't stop growing suddenly because it's about thriving. You expand, you grow, you reconnect until this body is done and you leave because you are so much more than this body. So, such a good point. If you have a negative association with inner work, then work on that, shift that. Because your perception creates your reality. Your perception creates your reality. And your perception is determined by your beliefs, by your trapped unconscious emotions and wounds from the past, all of that stuff that triggers you, let's say unworthiness, beliefs, pain and wounds from the past, like all of that determines how you see reality. You know, one person could look at a tree and think, oh my God, this is the most beautiful tree I've ever seen. Someone else looks at this tree and thinks, oh my God, this tree should be much bigger and taller. I mean, usually people say that about trees, but just to make a point, you know what I mean, right? It's like how you feel about yourself and how much baggage, emotional baggage, energetic or mental, whatever, although everything is energy, everything falls underneath the umbrella of energy. The more you carry that baggage inside, the more it will cloud or color your perception of the world. Do you live in a world where you feel safe, loved, supported, and you trust that everything is happening for you? Or do you live in a perception internally that the world is a dangerous place, you're not safe, and you have to control in order to make you feel safe? Huge difference. Think about that. Yay, Norma is 82, still learning to be better. I love you. I love my community so much. I mean, I have everything. I have from mid-20s to 80s. Like, this work is just, it's a lifestyle. For me, it's a lifestyle. It's a conscious choice. It's just part of who we are being as a soul. So thank you for sharing. Okay, I'm going to jump off here in a couple of minutes. If you have a last question, a last comment, or if you are open to share with me your biggest takeaway from today, that I would really appreciate, leave a comment below. But first I have to, my God, I'm talking like a... I haven't been live in a long time. So much supposed to come out. The more you say no, the more you see it can work for you and you feel better. Biggest lesson I've learned through the years. Yeah, boundaries, huge, huge, huge thing. Oh my God, if you can't say no, if you're someone who struggles with any chronic condition, and I'm not a doctor, disclaimer here, you know, when I test and work with people, I'm talking about energy frequencies. So I'm not diagnosing here anything, but if you're someone who struggles with a chronic condition, health-wise or body-wise, in general, there's most every time a boundary issue. Because if you don't set healthy boundaries, your body will. Just came up to share. I must go teach. Yeah, go teach, Beth. Woo-hoo. I love you too. Linda saying, my takeaway is that we make the best choices we can at that moment or at that time. Yes, super. It also creates a lot of self-acceptance. Especially, we often still punish ourselves for something we did in the past. We judge ourselves for something that we did in the past. What I did 20 years ago, I wouldn't do anymore. But I wasn't the person that I was 20 years ago. I didn't know that much. I wasn't that woman that I am today. But we often still do that. So reminding yourself, I'm doing and I did the best I could in that moment helps to release some of that self-judgment. Biggest takeaway for Tina, be selective on where you put your energy. Yes, Tina, great reminder for you. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Very good on perception. Perfect. Yes, you're welcome, Barbara. So important. Your perfect perception creates a reality. Yeah. Yes, I'm getting better. Yeah, Tina, you are. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to close this here for today. I'm going to wait a second before you jump off. Here again, if you haven't wrote down these Soul Infused Monday shows, make sure you go back to them. number 138, number 148, and a number 155. And here's my invitation to you. I will let you know when I go live again. I don't know when that's going to be, or if I do a training or something else. I most likely want to offer you some specific sessions about releasing trapped and old frozen emotions from the past, because if you've been struggling with something for a long time and you feel there's a block, there's something missing, kind of like you're stuck with something, most likely that will be the case. I will keep you posted on those things. But my invitation to you is, if you have specific questions or a specific topic or something, shoot me an email. I collect them and I will definitely let you know. My other invitation is, if you have gone a little bit away or neglected your own self-care, remember, how you start the day will determine the rest of your day. Breathe, meditate, take time for yourself, and don't fool yourself and don't lie to yourself by telling yourself you don't have time. You can say, I'm choosing not to take the time. Truth will always set you free. Don't fool yourself. Be conscious, be aware, take 100% responsibility for your life, and keep your energy high. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I am super excited to see you next time, even though I don't know when that is gonna be. So, thank you, and I will see you around. Much, much, much love. Bye for now.